So far I put in the it's got a AFCO dual fan heat exchanger on the car. I just put this on while we're taking it off, so it has not been used yet. It does have dual fans. They are right there. So they are pullers, not pushers like the S550s. This thing is sweet. The quality is nice. The fans are awesome. I can't wait to hear them. I had to splice into there's the Ford intercooler pump, and this is the activation wire for the fans, and I had to splice into that red and yellow wire right there for the pump's activation wire, and that the pump activates on the intake air temps. If it gets to a certain level, then the pump turns on. In the future, I will be routing both of these wires again to a fuse in the fuse box. That way the fan and the pump is turning on when the ignition is turned on. I just want to get the car back together and make sure everything works before I really start changing more and more stuff while this is being done. But there it is. Nothing in there except for some tires and rims. And here is actually I ran the two wires from the fans from the heat exchanger. They're right there. And I ran them right here. They're gonna be screwed onto this right here. It's actually seized right now, so I'm waiting to really start working on this again to get that nut off. Well, yeah, this right here is actually the old heat exchanger, the factory heat exchanger. So as you can see, it is very small compared to the AFCO one. It's probably an inch wide. I can bring it over here real quick. I don't really like to move a lot of stuff around just so that nothing bumps into the table. But, let's see here. Yeah, look at that. It is small. Very small compared to trying to hold the camera and a heat exchanger at the same time. And it's not the correct way, turn it around, but it's pretty much not even close to size. Put this back in the box. Still leaking a little fluid. Alright, so I had a JLT cold air intake on the car. In my opinion, it's probably the best one on the market for these cars. This was the setup before I put that SCT sticker on there, but I had the factory MAF with this filter, so that's what it'll look like. I will be changing the filter and converting the JLT regular style to this high boost filter, and this thing is a monster. What it does is it utilizes the 12-inch filter in place of this 6-inch filter and MAF, and it relocates this mass airflow sensor to this part on the intake right here. You got to drill through that, and I do have a SCT 3000 I will be plugging into that. This width right here is 105 millimeters, so this thing's going to be drawing in a lot more air on top of that. It's like a 152 millimeter throttle body. It's like 6 inches wide on that VMP blower. So there's gonna be some big changes. There's an adapter for it, and that sticker actually came from the heat exchanger. But and then here's a little rubber grommet that goes with that inlet over there. But yeah, I need to look at what's in the rest of these boxes here. I think the sensor is in here. Yeah, that's the sensor right there. I'm not going to be using this housing. I'm just going to unbolt that sensor right there, and I'm going to be putting it in there. So if anyone wants that, let me know. I'll be selling that too. So yeah, I'll be selling the old injectors. I don't think I'm going to sell the supercharger. I like to keep as many factory parts unless I don't need them. But yeah, I will be selling the old clutch though. If you saw that earlier, the factory clutch and flywheel, it's in really good condition, so I'll be selling that. These I do have Ditchworks on my side for this build here. I got Ditchworks dual 340 pumps. They are good for 1,000 horsepower. I will be, still on return list. I'll be return list still, so I'll be changing just the pumps and the injectors. These are Ditchworks 78-pound fuel injectors. Maybe in the future I will be doing a Forge Innovation return style, but I just want to get the car back together. Now this, with the valve guides wearing, it definitely convinced me to do some research on how to cool the car down. And I've gone with I did a lot of research on what type of system to go with for the head cooler mods. This is actually the oil adapter, or the oil sender for that oil pressure gauge. But yeah, I decided to go with Cobra Engineering's head cooler mod, and you can't really see, but I mean, this thing is amazing quality. It uses 4 innovative fittings, so it's really nice. And it's got, this is the old inlet for the back of the passenger head on my car, and this is the new one. And what it does is it loops over to the driver's side, and then it goes in like that. So it's a really cool design. You just undo the freeze plug for the driver's side, and then it gives it more coolant flow to that head. And I'll be having an install video on that whenever I get the heads back. So there'll be a lot of videos coming up here. It's just going to be some time. It's just a waiting game at this point. Yeah, the car is apart. Basically, the valve guide wore. One of the exhaust valve guides. It when it gets to a certain point of heat, the heat, just wears the guide out over time. And even though this car, it is an 03 Cobra, it is a 2003. Even though it's got 38,000 miles on it, I mean, it's hard abused miles on this thing. I mean, I take care of it maintenance wise, but just the way it's driven, I mean, it is very abused. It's about 25% track, 75% street. I mean, here I got the old tires on the drag radials there. But I'm going to be changing some stuff, my driving habits a little bit better when I get the new blower on. I'm not able to do the bottom end. I was debating on building the bottom end, but at this point, when I started, I guess, contemplating on whether or not to do it or not, I mean, it was just too late in the game to really start sending the block out, and I'd have to wait even longer. So I'm just at the point where I want the car back together, and you know, I just want to drive it. It's starting to get nice weather again, and yeah, I mean, that's that. I'm gonna keep the bottom end stock. The pistons look good. You'll see those in another video. But yeah, the top end will be basically rebuilt. It'll have stock components in it, but the heads will flow a lot better than factory. So it should be coming together slowly but surely.